Welcome to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Circle, the simple and AI-powered rewards and recognition platform for employee engagement.
Cloud-based HR software has made it easier for companies to automate their HR activities. HR software enables your HR department to work more effectively by aligning teams with the organization's goals, focusing on improving employee engagement, morale, and productivity. If you're wondering whether or not your company needs an HR software, or if it's just an extra cost that you will have to face, you are in the right place today. Hi everyone, I'm Shushmita from the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast, and I'm so delighted to welcome our guest speaker today, Rina Peter, the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Zoho. Welcome to the show, Rina.
Hi, Shushmita.
Yeah, once again, thanks for joining me today, Rina, in this podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it would be great, Rina, if you can kickstart this podcast with a brief about your journey in the corporate world.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, thank you for Vantage Circle to giving me this opportunity here. So, I have been in this corporate world for like almost 12 years now, and my experience has nothing been short of amazing. So, I currently head the marketing for Zoho's HR solution, which is the Zoho People and the People Plus. And I specialize in increasing the brand awareness and reaching the target audience. And as a part of, maximizing the brand reach, I have developed the go-to-market strategies for the feature launches. We conduct market research, then the crafted product messaging, and, create content strategies for several other products within Zoho as well. So I've been, delving deep into the HR sector for quite a long time to make sure, our HR solutions have all the functionalities to save HR professionals from their repetitive tasks and provide a greater working experience to employees.
Right, brilliant, Rina. You have worked for 11 plus years in the field.
Yes.
Now, I guess, isn't it?
Correct.
So how do you see the HR workspace, changing?
Well, if you see, over the last 10 years, I see the HR workspace has evolved, quite significantly to manage the changing expectations of today's multi-gender, workforce. High-level concepts like employee experience, work-life balance, the people's first culture, inclusion, diversity, you keep on saying, etc., right, are becoming super important to employees. So in today's workspace, the role of HR professionals, in my opinion, is no more just restricted to manage hiring and administrative processes, but today's HR departments are trying out creative ways, to deliver an exceptional working experience to their employees. And they have started using employee data to drive important decisions. So they are making HR process as simple as possible, for them as well as for their employees. And they are also introducing policies that put their people, before profits. They are also being involved in a lot of strategic, tasks, including defining the company's culture, spearheading change management initiatives, introducing new tech tools, managing workforce optimization, and, it goes on. So they are basically charged with managing everything that retains employees and keep them engaged, satisfied, and productive. So this was definitely not the case, 5 or 10 years ago. But back then, the HR team was predominantly tasked with just hiring employees and managing other administrative tasks like record keeping, payroll management, and etc.
Right, brilliant, Rina. So in your role, as you have already mentioned, you work for the workplace culture as well. So I'm sure you also take part in community engagement or employee engagement initiatives as well, right?
Right, correct. Yes.
Right. So can you tell us more about that? What are the initiatives that you take up for employee engagement and community engagement?
So, I actually manage a team of, 7 to 8 people in my current role. Yeah. And in my previous roles as well, we have had 10 people or so. So the very important things I personally do keep in my team is engaged. I don't micromanage them.
Right.
Instead, I allow them to work independently. So this shows the trust I have in their abilities and motivates my team to go above and beyond. I also make sure that they have access to all the tech tools that simplify their work and save time for them. So there is no much of manual things involved. So software that is easy to use can contribute significantly to employee engagement. And that's what I believe in. Also, how you communicate with your team is super important. It's important to provide feedback, recognize their hard work, and keep them updated on all important developments from time to time to improve their engagement and motivation levels.
Okay, that partly comes into my next question. That is, what is the most important aspect of HR, of using HR technology or HR software, Rina, in your view?
Well, in my opinion, I feel every feature in HR software is crucial to streamline and simplify the HR process. But for instance, if you take the onboarding module, is essential to save new hires from tedious paperwork and help them adapt to their organization's culture and values. So similarly, the core HR features, if you take like attendance, leave, and payroll modules in the HR software, are super important to cut down, repetitive work and prevent errors. So we see like something like, the performance management system is like essential to evaluate employee performance and provide feedback to help them understand their strengths and weaknesses as well. So, the self-service portal, which is crucial to empower employees to complete their HR task at any time from anywhere. So I believe every feature present in HR software is critical to help the HR teams bring out the best in their employees.
Right. So it clearly has a lot of benefits that it provides to businesses, isn't it?
Right.
So how can, we, in the VUCA world especially, how can it help to gain a micro-competitive advantage?
Well, employees are the most, valuable attribute an organization can ever have to outperform its competition. So how they work and manage business operations can make or break an organizational success, right? So employees cannot thrive in a place where there is no convenient working experience. So to help them bring out their best efforts, it's important to make business processes frictionless and manage employees in the best possible way. And I feel this is where the HR software truly shines. It can be a game changer for all businesses, irrespective of the size or the industry they belong to. And it also simplifies every aspect, of the HR operations, from onboarding to offboarding for both employees and the HR professionals. And it also, reduces their administrative burden overall. So a comprehensive HR software, it empowers employees to complete, I feel, all of the HR tasks where they raise requests, communicate with their peers, in providing and receiving the feedback, take training, and of course be informed of all other important updates effortlessly, no matter where they work from. So also I see that, it can be customized and integrated with multiple third-party apps to make sure, the HR software works the best way that fits every other organization. It's not just, for one particular need, but to every other organization in their own workflow, how they wanted to set it. So this kind of technological sophistication, I believe, is vital to cater to employee needs.
Right. So it's a big yes for HR softwares, in businesses today.
Good.
So, but yeah, we see a lot of the small businesses and companies, they trust HR software companies for a right payroll and HR management solution.
Right.
So what is your view on this? Should progressive startups invest in HR, or is it a no for them? Like, should we think before investing in HR software?
Right. So, HR software for progressive startups is definitely a yes. But while having limited resources, the startup leaders cannot really afford to spend, on time-taking repetitive tasks, rather than focusing on the strategic task. So at the same time, letting go of these routine administrative tasks can sometimes lead to a hefty penalties, right? And unnecessary, compliance issues. So in such situation, having a tech tool like HR software can automate most of the routine, what HR operations like leave management, payroll management, attendance, employee query management, etc. And it requires a very little supervision. You don't have to really, keep following it up and so. So in addition to automating the core HR operations, HR software can also help substantially in tracking employee performance and training them effortlessly. So HR software for progressive startups is a big yes.
Okay. So moving forward, Rina, looking towards the HR technology trends, coming into 2022, we see a significant influence of the past 2 years, regarding the COVID, and an ongoing movement towards the complete digital transformation across workplaces. So what are the new HR technology trends that you see getting into speed, in 2022? So the HR automation is, one of the major technology trends that will continue to rule the HR sector in 2022. So with many organizations, planning to go remote first and adopt a hybrid workplace models. So automation would really help them ensure these HR operations are completed on time and without any errors. So this would also help provide an exceptional remote, working experience to employees. Similarly, dependence on people analytics solution increase as organizations, begin to hyper-personalize their HR practices, including hiring, onboarding, performance, and many more, using employee data. And in addition to these, I also see an increased emphasis on data security. So this is super important for the HR sector, as they manage a large amount of sensitive data pertaining to their employees. So this means the HR technologies without robust, with robust data protection features are no longer optional, but crucial to shield sensitive HR, information and ensure employee privacy. Brilliant. Thanks for sharing this, Rina. So any resource on HR that you want to suggest to our listeners, maybe a book or an ebook or a podcast, anything?
There's a lot in the web right now, but there's something that we have created called the HR Knowledge Hive. So it's like a resource hub for the actionable insights on the best HR practices. With HR Knowledge Hive, we hope to provide useful articles, blogs, and infographics on a variety of HR topics. So you can find this HR Knowledge Hive under Zoho People, on our website. So we have been, organizing informative webinars as well regularly with our HR thought leaders, just to help the HR professionals, learn different perspectives on the best HR practices. So you can follow Zoho People's official Twitter, LinkedIn page to stay updated on our upcoming webinars. And you can also check out our official YouTube page for the recordings of the previous, thought leadership webinars. So these recordings will be available, under the playlist called the HR Expert Talks.
Okay.
So this will be my suggestion.
Okay, thank you so much for that. What would be your end note to our listeners? Any suggestions that you want to give to our HR listeners today, Rina?
Yeah, sure. So the world of work, it's like changing very rapidly, and we see new workplace models evolving around, and we see new technologies coming up. And we also see progressive organizations, adopting new management styles and whatnot. So as a result, what employees expect from their workplace has undergone, paradigm shift. So it's important, for all the HR professionals to keep pace with these changes and leverage useful tech tools to cater to employee needs and enable them to work in the best possible way. And holding on to traditional ways of people management can put, organization at a huge loss. So I feel it's very vital to prioritize what actually matters to your workforce.
Right. Great. Amazing. Rina, thanks for sharing that as well. And so finally, how can our listeners reach out to you?
You can reach out to me through social channels, or you can also write to me at, rina@zohocorp.com. So that will be my email ID.
Okay. Thank you so much for all the insights, Rina. That was lovely talking to you. Thanks a lot once again for joining me in the Vantage HR Influencers podcast.
Thank you so much, Sushmita. And thank you, Vantage Circle, for giving me this opportunity, to speak on the key trends that we expect in 2022.
Welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage HR Influencers Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.